but I think the greatest lie that I've ever said is
probably that I'm sober enough to drive.
I was with this girl for 2 years and I told her the entire time that I loved her, but I only wanted her for sex.
My mommy told me to go to bed, but I didn't.
Not really known for lying, Tom. Besides telling somebody they're not fat.
Oi, I lie about being a woman.
I said my grandma died so I can leave early for work, be off for 2 days.
Only a small percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, so if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. It's free and you can easily unsubscribe. Enjoy the video.
What about you?
What's the biggest lie you've ever told?
I cheated on an ex before. That's probably like the biggest lie. What's the biggest lie you ever told?
I have no clue.
What do you mean you have no clue? You just made fun of me for having to think about it, you piece of shit. Go on then.
Telling my second girlfriend that I love her.
I think the biggest lie you ever told is that you actually had a girlfriend to begin with. Listen, any lie in the pursuit of sex is not really a lie at all.
The world's a messed up place, but that doesn't mean that you need to join it and be messed up. Be who you are, but don't be a little shit. You know,
when helping someone with depression, even if I don't know them, I tell them that it's just like the typical, there are definitely people out there that love you and stuff like that. Because, you know, situations are very different. And there's some people where they genuinely don't have someone like that.
Actually, I can't really think of any lies that I've told people. Like in the real world, I don't really have very many friends in the real world, so I don't really lie. I've been very dismissive of a lot of people who might have wanted to get closer to me in reality. Probably out of fear or anxiety, which maybe I shouldn't do that because, you know, then I would have more healthy relationships in reality.
For me, it was probably like keeping up a charade with my ex, you know? Like, oh, you know, things are fine, I still love you, whatever. But I didn't.
Right, it's just more of not wanting to hurt the person. I mean, in the long run, I guess that does hurt them, but
eventually it hurts them more because, you know, you've been lying all that time. But, you know, in the moment, you look for an exit.
The first biggest lie was when I said that I love her.
The biggest lie is saying that I do.
I see.
Oh yeah. Well, I had to tell my babushka, you know, grandma, that I had a girlfriend, you know, all the jazz. They always do that. I had a best friend. He was also, you know, gay, and he didn't really get to experience all the freedom I got to after. Now, he was drafted in the Crimean War and didn't come back.
This man is a YouTuber, and he's asking me the deep questions. I think a lot of us come to VR as an escape, but you're asking us about, like, our lives, so I gotta, like, you know, go back. You know what I mean? It's like, here I come here to interact with people and kind of not think about it. It's like another part of my brain I gotta reactivate.
Yeah, probably telling my ex that I was okay with her leaving. Dude, I'd rather be in my boss's office discussing my next pay deduction than doing this. So, like, this is tense. This is super tense.
I'm a walking lie.
That I love them. Yeah, we dated, but the only reason why I dated them was because I knew how do I say it? They weren't strong-willed enough. I pretty much knew they were gonna probably either kill themselves or hurt themselves in any sort of way. Because, you know, they don't really have the strong will to go on. The first thing I had to do was strengthen her. So what I did was, when she confessed to me that she liked me, I said, yeah, I loved her too. But as the relationship went on, I kind of sort of toughened her up a little bit. So now she's not a cupcake. And then when it ended, and I told her the truth, that I didn't like her, she understood. I did my part. She did her part. And then that's it. We still talk too. It's pretty cool.
But as I grew older, I just kind of hated lying. So it's like, even with my girlfriend, we just like, look, this isn't working. We need to fix this, otherwise this isn't going to work at all. And that'd be like over something that's a little bit more minor, because I'm thinking longer term and I don't want to be the guy lying, which can come with its own problems because you don't tolerate the little white lies a lot more. It kind of loses a bit of trust there. With my girlfriend, that would be that her friends had already told me most of her secrets that they shouldn't have done, and I was aware of all of her flaws, and I still went into a relationship with her. She hasn't told me all of these things yet, but I already know them and I still love her. And I'm just waiting for her to get comfortable with telling me. Her friends shouldn't have told me, but they did. That's the biggest truth I've withheld.
I guess the biggest lie that I've said to someone is when talking to them, I would be very, very seclusive and very quiet. I would not be truthful towards my own feelings towards them to really help out. I probably kept up a lot of pent-up problems from them. Probably lied to them when they asked me, hey, you doing all right? Or something like that. And at that time, I was still pretty scared about life. I didn't really know what I was doing. So I probably said, yeah, I'm doing all right. But deep down, I probably meant, I don't know, I'm struggling real bad here.
If you tell the biggest lie, you're going to be a part of the 7 deadly
deadly sins.
The guy who comes around Christmas is real, for example. Stuff like that. So, not necessarily the biggest lie, but ones that the little ones believe the longest. Yeah, I have 3 of them. If you find out young, you feel rather jaded and kind of scared that other people even find out you know. But then at the same time, I've perpetuated that with all my kids just as long as I could. And it's an interesting thing. I don't think that there's a soft transition out of it. And once they find out about 1 or 2 of them, they're like, oh, okay, the rest of it, the rest of it's all BS too. And I think that's a hard time. It kind of kicks you in the teeth because you're like, why did I perpetuate this myth that wasn't real?
That I had money I didn't have, I don't know.
Is that I don't like some liars who lied this whole time. The thing who is responsible for this is who is facing the truth.
I lied about doing drugs as I didn't have to say I have a girlfriend to my mom.
I had an ex a long time ago who was very religious, very, very, very Christian, and I'm atheist, and for at least 6 months I never told her I was atheist, and I kept telling her that I was Christian, and she never doubted it at all until one day I came out and she was in tears, and I felt absolutely horrible, and I still do to this day. She completely excommunicated me after that, and I feel horrible for it. I wish I had her that I hadn't lied to her. I wish I had just said it outright, so I wouldn't have led her on this whole kind of path.
I told my mom I crashed my car when my friend crashed my car.
I once was in a relationship of sorts where I wasn't that interested in a girl, and I told her I loved her.
Told someone that cut myself a few times, and I didn't though. I didn't.
Well, I mean, now I found someone else. I have a girlfriend now, and she's also atheist, and she loves me for who I am and for everything about me. The past girlfriend, the ex, she always had a little bit of problems with me, but I always tried to fix them about myself. But after the time I told her that I was atheist, I learned about myself that I don't need to change myself for someone else. I just need to figure out who I am and someone who is going to accept me for myself. There's so many people out there in the world that are always are trying to fix themselves and better themselves with every little part that they see is a negative about them, but they don't really realize that that's not a negative about you. That's just a quality that you haven't really accepted yet. I've accepted so much stuff about myself, and I've lived my life, and I'm so much happier now that I've accepted all these things.
Well, I've held the fact that I've had a girlfriend for 2 months from my family ever since I was young. My parents would always belittle me, saying, "Oh, Edgar, you stayed with a girl for like a second, just talking and having a conversation. Who's the girlfriend?" Oh, it just
I hate it when parents do that.
They are the sole reason I haven't had a girlfriend in ages.
I mean, yeah, I lie about my mental health.
Sorry to just pop in on such a deep conversation. It's just in this world.
I mean, that's VRCHAT in a nutshell, ain't it?